Hello, hello. All right, today we're going to talk about this little metaphor that I've been using to try to help people better understand how that whole lower brain chatter works and a different way of seeing it. So I was trying to help my client see that our very first addiction, it's not to food, it's not to drinking or gambling. Our first addiction is to our thinking, it's to our thoughts. And what I mean by that is at some point when you were a young child, usually around the age of 2, this voice starts to show up. That lower brain chatter starts to show up. It's trying to help you. It's trying to make sense of the world around you, especially when you're young, right? Like there's all these things you don't know. And it's trying to create logical, sequential stories that make you feel better about what's happening on the outside world, even if it's completely wrong, which it usually is. So as a child, some kid bullies you on the playground. It jumps in and says, oh, he bullied you because you have this certain kind of shoes, or because you're this, because you're that. If we just change those things, or we just do this differently, then maybe this kid won't bully. So it starts talking to us, right? This voice is talking to us. And this child, just like real children, right? If the TV's on, something's talking to them, it starts to gravitate over to it, and before you know it, the kid is like face up against the TV. And what are you saying as the parent? You're saying, hey, Johnny, back away from the TV. You could start to have bad vision if you don't come away from the TV. Well, over time, Johnny finds a lot of comfort in that voice talking to him. He finds it's always trying to help make sense of things. It's trying to help him seemingly solve problems. And it's very comforting. It's in his voice. It's talking to him about his situation, the me and I story, okay? So this connection is now made. And most people, if I were to explain this, I think most people are still pressed up against the TV. They're hearing these thoughts. You should be doing this. You should be doing that. He said this because of this. So-and-so won't date you because of that. It's always talking, right? And we're just kind of glued to the TV. Through the work that I do with my clients, what I'm starting to do is share with them this idea of this is how this mind works, right? It doesn't actually know anything, even though it likes to pretend it does. It's trying to guess what's happening in the future. It's trying to make sense of the world around you, but it has no clue. Like it's not going over and asking Johnny, why are you picking on me? It's not asking the guy, why did you not want to go on the second date with me? What about me? It was not okay. It's not doing those things. It's just guessing. But because it keeps talking to you, you're completely tuned into it. So via the work I do with my clients, what starts to happen is they become a little less attached to it. They start to realize there's problems. They start to see that this all-knowing quote-unquote voice really isn't so all-knowing. And they start to back away from the TV a little bit to where they realize, I'm in a room. Look at this. I'm coming out of the Matrix. I'm in a room and there is a TV there. I can hear it talking to me. But I now understand that this lower brain talking that's going on, it's always going to be going on. It's always going to be rotating out the same 5 episodes of Friends on repeat, or whatever your show, the show that you liked would have been. And I've already seen all these shows, so I don't really have to watch it as incessantly anymore. I can stop looking to it for guidance. I can stop looking to it for advice, because the truth is, it's not really all that smart. It's just repeating old things it's seen in the past. And it's looking for, repeating habitual behaviors. It wants to make me feel good. It wants to keep me stuck in my habits. It wants me to not basically be in pain and suffer. Like that's the whole point of this whole process. Over time, the more that you start to see, this is just a repetitive brain, lower brain talking to you, that it's always repeating the same stories. It's always taking you back to comfort with food or comfort with this. Then you back up even further. And now you realize, oh, I'm in a house. Like I can move anywhere in this house. I don't have to stay completely glued into the TV. Like every time this voice talks to you, you don't have to stop what you're doing and go whoosh right up against the screen. You could go vacuum the living room. You could go to the kitchen and clean the counters, and you can still hear it running in the background. You can still hear it talking to you, but every time it says, oh my gosh, I can't believe you wore that to work today. What were you thinking? Da, 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 da. Or, oh no, he didn't call you back. It's because of this, this, and this. It will never stop talking to you. It will always talk to you about everything. That's just what it does. It's done it since you were 2. It's gonna keep on doing it. But the more that you don't buy into what it's saying, the more you see it for what it truly is. It's not your bestie that's got your back. It's actually this voice that's very reactive to whatever the problem is. And it only wants to solve that problem in the moment. That's all it cares about. It doesn't care about your future self. It doesn't care that you now going back to Weight Watchers for the 20th time is going to lead to the same outcome it has for the previous 19 times. It's still going to suggest you go to Weight Watchers. Even though you would say, well, this makes no sense, Heather. I sign up and I keep not finishing it out like I did the very first time. Did you ever ask yourself why that is? Because the very first time you did it, you were a beginner. You really took it seriously. You followed it until something came along that didn't work for you in that program. And then you kind of left it. But what your mind did, your lower brain mind did, is it associated Weight Watchers with this momentary success, whether you lost 20 pounds there, 30 pounds there, whatever. It does not recall the moment you stopped doing the process, started gaining the weight back, and really hyperfixate on that, because it will only show you the things that will get you back into the habit. So habits can be, oh, I had a really bad day at work, I'm super sad. Oh, have some chocolate, we'll start again tomorrow. That can be a habit. Another habit can be, I jumped on the scale in the morning. Oh my God, I can't believe my weight. Your brain comes in and says, oh, you know what worked for us in the past? Because all it's showing you is the very first time you signed up at Weight Watchers, you dropped 20 or 30 pounds. It says this now works. Even though you're standing here the 20, 30 pounds heavier 19 times later, and it still didn't work. See, this mind that talks to us, the sooner we can stop giving it, I call it like not giving it top tier access. Like we're gonna bump it down. We're gonna treat it like spam junk mail. We're not gonna tune into everything it has to say, because it's not thinking like your prefrontal cortex. It's truly just regurgitating things from the past. It's looking to put out the immediate fire with no consideration for where you are going to be in 10 or 20 years. You eating chocolate every time you're sad could lead to diabetes and being overweight. It doesn't care about that. It just cares that you feel better now. So this analogy of the TV in the room in the house is kind of how I see this process of waking up to what's really going on. And I am currently putting together, I'm super excited about it, a 6-week intensive program that I'm actually going to launch within the Half Size Me Academy to people who want to work with me for 6 months. I'm only going to have, I think, 20 people involved in this entire process that want to go deeper into this. You really want to understand. You've already taken the Master Your Mind to Lose Weight course. You've watched the videos on the Thinking Leads to Eating. You're starting to get this high level, but you want to go deeper. This is something I'm super excited about. And if you want more information, you can always join the Academy. That'll be where I'll be doing signups for this particular run of this event. And I am super excited to be able to launch this. All right, you guys have a great week, and I'll talk to you soon.